Hello. Today I'm going to be talking about the day 1tz'i. Now, I'm back home in Guatemala, and obviously normally I would be out somewhere in the garden, but I don't know if you can hear the rain behind me, which is a very, very welcome thing for Guatemala right now. It's been a very dry, rainy season, and so this rain is exactly what is needed. So thankfully I'm finally getting some. So, the Trecena of Tz'i, a Trecena about faith and loyalty, and justice and unconditional love. These are the themes that we might associate with the Nawal Tz'i. It's a time for perhaps our faith to be renewed in who we are, what we're doing, where we're going. And of course, along the way come some challenges, because, they're what show us our faith in where we are, who we are, what we're doing, where we're going. And so maybe in the last few weeks, that faith has been shaken, has been rattled a bit. And here we are. It's time to renew it. It's time to kind of get with the program again, I suppose we could say. It's time to embrace that unconditional love for others and for ourselves, and to use that in our process as we move forwards. So we're going to begin the Trecena of Tz'i on the day 1tz'i. As I said, Tz'i, faith, loyalty, unconditional love, justice. Combined with the number 1, here we see renewal, here we see rebirth, here we see beginnings. So it's a great time to begin something along that path. We see Tz'i as our faithful, loyal, loving guide. Now you might remember 20 days ago, we would have been in 70, kind of like the end of a particular path, the end of kind of like a particular part of our guidance. And here a new guidance comes along. Here a new, faithful, loyal, loving guide comes to help us. Sometimes when we're without our guide, that's when we lose our faith in our path or whatever it might be. And so 1tz'i gives us a chance, a time to recuperate all of that. It's also something we could see as beginning a new cycle of legal things. So Tz'i is also, kind of like associated with that new cycle of justice. So these are also, kind of like things that we can see coming along with that. So as we move from 1tz'i, we move into 2 bats. So bats, the Nawal of creativity. Bats, the Nawal of weaving. And here we see it with the number 2, bringing with it some sacrifices in order to bring our creation into the world. What might we need to sacrifice in this Trecena of Tz'i? Might we need to have kind of like faith in that, okay, I'm going to let this go because I need to have that faith that I'm going forwards in the right way. And so what might we need to sacrifice in order to enhance our creativity? Now the number 2 can also represent relationships. It can also represent love. And we can see this with the Nawal bats as being a time when, kind of like we can look at what creativity we might bring into our relationships. Again, in this time of renewal of faith, in this time of unconditional love, what might we need to do in order to bolster our relationships, in order to bring that creativity in? Maybe it's letting go of something so that we can, that self-sacrifice coming in again. From 2 bats, we're then moving into 3 Now, I often sort of think about this, because is normally a good day to journey, but the 3, well, sometimes the 3 days bring along an extra bump on the road, as it were. And so 3 maybe that's more of a time to look inwardly for your path, to look to see where your path is going, where it might be all leading. Again, in the faith, having faith during this Trecena, our faith kind of like being renewed or our faith being tested. Maybe you've hit some bumps along the road. 3ech is a good day to understand them, to look inside, to really understand where your path is leading. And so perhaps it would be better to stay home also kind of represented by the 3, to understand how your path can, kind of like how you can walk your path, where you can go with it, and have, your faith renewed by looking inside to find your path. From 3ech, we then move into 4ach. I always think that this is a very solid and dependable day. We have ach, the renewal of harmony in the home, harmony in the community. We see ach as standing up for the right thing, and here we see it with the number 4 on the physical level. So it's very down to earth, can be very grounded. Again, can be about getting things right in your house. Maybe it's kind of like some things that have kind of gone out of line. Maybe 4ach comes along to help us to reset them, to help us to understand what to do, how to ground them, to pay attention to the physical details within our community and within our home in order to bring order there. And when we can get the groundwork right, then we can build from it. From 4ach, we then move to 5ish. So ish is, kind of like our connection with the heart of the earth, our connection with the altars, with the shrines. It's our connection with the sacred around us and the sacred within us. And when we see it with the number 5, the one hand with which we're putting in the work. So again, 5 days, I always look at it as like things don't just drop in our laps. Well, sometimes they do if we're really lucky, but usually we're going to have to put some effort into it. So it's about putting some effort into looking after our altars, into looking after the environment around us. It's a great day to go out and do some environmental work, to go and perhaps clean up an altar. Certainly a great day for ceremony as well, in order to, kind of like bring out the best of our connection with those sacred sites. From 5ish, we then move into 6 So 6 being a very stable number, 6 being a rather fortunate number, with Tzikin also being seen as a rather fortunate Nawal. When we bring them to both together, we can see that 6 Tzikin, is a day on which we could really kind of like understand how to bring our vision in, how to stabilize our vision. Tzikin flying high gives us the opportunity to see forward, to see further along the road where we're going, what prosperity we might need in order to work on that journey. It might be a day when our faith might be bolstered by the prosperity that we can see going forwards as well. Now, that prosperity I use in a very, I think it's really important to understand that it's about thriving. It's about our community, our family, our homes thriving and having the vision for it. So if you have a vision for, again, where we're going, where you're going, where things are going in general, then 6 Tzikin is a great day to be working on it, a great day to be stabilizing it. Sorry, the rain has been so heavy. My 2 dogs are like rather upset about it, so I've got them in here and they're begging for attention. Well, it's a Trecena. I thought I'd better have them by my side, right? From 6 Tzikin, we're then going into 7 Achmach. So Achmach, all about forgiveness. Achmach, all about redemption. And here we see it with the number 7, which can represent endings, which can represent finality, and also represent choices. It's always our choice with regards to whether we're going to let go of stuff, whether we're going to forgive stuff or not. It's always going to be, I think, in our own and other people's interests if we're able to forgive and let go. But sometimes it's not all as easy as that. And when we see it with the number 7, this is like, right, okay, done and dusted. This is the time when we say, right, okay, there may be something that we've been hanging on to. Maybe even that's something which has caused us a crisis of faith or something like that. It's time to let it go. It's time to forgive ourselves, time to ask forgiveness, time to be, forgive those around us. And with the 7, I see it as forgive and let go. I don't really see it as, I prefer not to use the term forgive and forget, because if we forget, maybe it's going to come along to remind us that that was an important lesson that we had to learn. But to forgive and let go, to really let go, to draw a line under things and say, yep, that happened. I don't choose for it to happen again, but it's time to finally unload those burdens of guilt or blame or shame so that we can move forwards with faith on our path. From 7 Achmach, we're then going into 8 Noach. Noach, the Nawal of information, the Nawal of knowledge. Noach, the one who is going to bring us the information that we need. Noach, the problem solver. And here we see it with the number 8. The number 8 representing wholeness. The number 8 representing bringing all these things in together. And, kind of like we need our wholeness of knowledge in order to solve the problems that we might have. And again, it's like in this Trecena of faith and loyalty and justice and that is looking at all sides of it. How can we use the whole of our knowledge, the whole of our mind, the whole of our brain in order to solve the problems and kind of like go back to that resurgence of faith or, kind of like the understanding of how we can have faith again because we have the understanding to solve the problems. So 8 Noch might be a good day to be, if you've got some problems in your life, it's a great day to be looking at it and saying, right, okay, what knowledge do I carry from wherever it is that I picked it up? The wholeness of what I have within me is something that I can use to solve the problems and move forwards. From 8 Noch, we're then moving into 9 Tihash. 9 Tihash, again, can be a very powerful day. Tihash being cleansing. Tihash being like the surgeon, where's a Tihash? There's a Tihash. A nice little obsidian blade that could be used to cut, could be used to remove what is no longer needed. And what are we talking about? We're talking about the number 9. And so we can see that as like this is a kind of like the healing of life. This is the surgery that helps us to let go of what we don't need, what's causing an imbalance. Again, in this time of faith, loyalty, and unconditional love, it's like saying, right, okay, on 9 Tihash, what are we going to use our discernment to help us to release so that we can walk forwards again with faith and loyalty? Now we can also see the number 9 as representing the feminine. This is a strong day of feminine warriorship, a strong day of feminine healing. We can see all of those things coming in for 9 Tihash. Also a very good day to be having surgery should you need it. From 9 Tihash, we then move into 10 Kawok. Kawok, for me, the counterpart of Tihash. Kawok, the one who does the aftercare after the surgery. A day of the midwife. And here we see it with the number 10 representing community. So this could very well represent the female healers within our community. This is a great time to be making agreements, getting together in order to bring something new, in order to help something to be birthed into the world. Tenk is a great day to get together, particularly with the feminine healers, in order to clear the blockages that might be there, to wash them away with the storm and the rain, in order to bring new life. From 10 Kawok, we then move into 11 Achpu. Achpu, our quest for the divine. Achpu, our quest for source, our connection to ancestors. Also, we can see that Achpu is saying, right, okay, what are we going to look for to help us to be guided on our life journey? What are we going to be looking for to help us to understand where our spiritual path might lie? Okay, now the 11 day, I often see this as being highly creative, but it's like we have to follow our intuition with it, because the 11s, you know, it's this and then it's that. We're turning in these different directions. It's like understanding that, we're not always going to take logical steps to get where we need to go. To understand that as we go forwards, sometimes we're going to need to go, well, I say sometimes, a lot of the time we need to go with our intuition to help us, kind of like follow a path that we might not have followed otherwise. And when we combine that with Arpo, this is saying, right, okay, on my spiritual path, on my, quest to connect with spirit, to connect with the ancestors, to connect with more than what I am, to connect with the best that I can be, the most that I can be. 11 Arpo is a day to listen to your intuition, to understand where you might need to turn, to follow maybe a new spiritual path. Something comes out of the blue and you think, oh, okay, that looks interesting. Maybe that is part of the puzzle that I'm looking for. So keep your wits about you on 11 Arpo for what might come in from around you, and for new information coming from kind of like different areas that help to guide you on that path. From 11 Arpo, we then move into 12 Imosh. Imosh being the Nawal of the dream world, Imosh being the Nawal of the waters, of the lakes, of the oceans, and here combined with the number 12. The number 12 representing all of our life's experience, representing what we can bring together into one bundle. And here we see it connected with Imosh. So this is kind of like a culmination of our life's dreams, because sometimes it doesn't always come just as one, right? It comes as kind of like a little bit here and then a little bit there and then a little bit there. And it's bundling it together to understand the whole dream. Bundling it together to understand what we might take from that bit and that bit and that bit in order to move forwards. Now, it's also a day that represents the oceans and the lakes. And if we understand the number 12 as representing all of life's experiences, then we can understand that 12 Imosh might be a great day to use all of our life's experiences in order to look after our water sources, in order to look after our oceans and our lakes. And so, again, it asks us what we can do with the experience that we carry that can help us to look after those places. And then finally, we come to 13 Ik, a very, very, very powerful day. Ik representing the wind, Ik representing the breath of life as well. Communication comes in there. Now, it's very much hurricane season right now, and 13 Ik is a very powerful wind, so maybe we need to be on the lookout for that as well, because when Ik comes through, sometimes it can really turn things upside down. It gives us the opportunity to speak, it gives us the opportunity to communicate, and here connected with the 13 also suggesting ancestors or spirit. So, of course, it would be a great day for listening, for receiving messages from spirit. It would be a great day for forms of channeling, for want of better words, for the voice of the ancestors to be heard. 13 Ik can also bring a lot of change. The wind blows through, turns everything upside down. And here, kind of like this is at its maximum. So, it can be a very strong day. So, kind of like sometimes you might need to just anchor yourself, ground yourself, batten down the hatches, and particularly before you react with your voice. Because on 13 Ik, you may well find that your words have a lot more power and influence than you were expecting them to have. And if you kind of like unleash them without thought, if you unleash them particularly with anger, you may find that the consequences are far more than you bargained for. So certainly on 13 Ik, think before you speak, especially if you get into a situation that might bring up anger, which is also associated with Ik. And on the more positive side, it's a great day to go out and listen for the messages that might come to you from spirit. Listen to the messages that might come to you from the ancestors. So I hope that you've enjoyed that somewhat brief Trecena video, and I look forward to seeing you in 13 days' time for the Trecena of Acabado. Thank you.